Hello everyone, this is Vihanga Nathu here from Mentorify. I'm making this video to help you better prepare for your upcoming CAT examination. I sincerely believe that we are able to learn in a much more effective way from others' experiences. A little bit of background about myself. I'm a mechanical engineer with 9 months of work ex as a supply chain analyst. I gave the CAT 20 exam and was able to secure 99.56 percentile. I will be joining MDI Gurgaon PGDM program this year. So I will be structuring this video into 4 parts. The first part will consist of general preparation, how to carry out a general preparation for CAT examination. I will be drawing out my own experiences and sharing some of the tips with you. The rest of the 3 sections I will be tackling the VARC, DILR and quant section respectively. So let's get started. So in this section, I'm going to share a few points with you which I feel are very relevant and important while preparing for the CAT. So the first point is that study the exam before studying for the exam. And what I mean by this is that CAT is a competitive examination, unlike your school or college board examinations. So while preparing for a competitive examination, it's very important that you understand the examination. So I would recommend you to go through the past CAT papers, understand the kind of questions which are asked, the difficulty level of these questions and the general pattern which is there. So let me just share an example with you. If you skim through or go through the past CAT paper quant section, and if you go through the number of parts which are there in quant section such as arithmetic, algebra, modern maths, geometry, you will find out that arithmetic carries the most weightage. So if you go through like 3-4 years past CAT papers, you will find out that arithmetic is 40% of the quant section. Sometimes it is even 50%. So now if you have gone through this, you understand how important this part is in quants, and it is very important for you to be comfortable in this arithmetic part, because it will help you score the maximum marks in quants. The second point which I would like to share is that analyzing the mocks is much more important than taking the mocks. Well, taking the mocks helps you understand your ability at a given point in time. Analyzing the mocks helps you understand your strengths and you understand the areas where you lack in. So a quote from Winston Churchill comes to my mind: all men make mistakes, but only the wise men do not repeat the same mistakes. And that is exactly what analyzing the mocks is going to help you with. You will be able to understand where exactly your weakness lies. You will be able to understand and tackle some of the problems in much more effective way, which is very important as far as CAT exam is concerned. So I would recommend you that while analyzing the mocks, the time for analyzing the mock should be somewhere between 2 to 3 times the time for which you took the mock. So if it is a 3-hour mock, then analyze the mocks for somewhere between 6 to 9 hours. Now the third point which I am trying to make is that your success in the CAT examination depends upon the strategy you follow. So I would just like to elaborate a bit on what I mean by strategy. So in the quant section, at the initial phases of my preparation, I used to attempt the section right from the start. I just used to attempt the section from question 1 until the question 34. And what used to happen is that I wouldn't be able to reach the end of the quant section, and some of the easy questions which were there right in the end, I was not able to tackle those questions, and I would lose a lot of marks. So after finding this out, I started experimenting. I said I'll use different strategies for preparing for this section. So some of them which I followed were that I used to cover the section in 2 rounds, where I used to solve the very easy and very comfortable questions in the first round, the topics which I do know, and in the second round I would solve some of the complex and sections which I was not very comfortable with. Or maybe sometimes I used to solve the paper in a sectional kind of pattern where I used to solve arithmetic, which I was comfortable with first, then I would go to geometry and modern maths and so on. But in the end, after experimenting so much in a lot of mocks, I found out that my optimal strategy is actually solving the paper in 3 rounds. In the first round, I used to solve the very easy questions which I could solve in less than a minute. In the second round, I used to solve the questions which were easy but consumed some of my time. In the third round, I used to solve the questions which were difficult and which some of the sections which were not very comfortable for me. So the point is that to find your right strategy, the most crucial thing is to experiment. So I would recommend you that you actually prepare an Excel sheet, and in that sheet, before taking any mock, you write the strategy for each section, for verbal, quants and DILR section. The data which you will collect over a number of mocks will help you find your right strategy. And one strategy does not work for all. You need to find your optimum strategy, and that you can only find out over a number of mocks if you actually have the data. So this is the end of section 1. These were the 3 points which I find very important. Now in the next section, we will dive towards how to improve in the VAR. So in the section 2 of this video, I would like to share with you how to improve in the VRC section. Verbal ability is something which is very difficult for engineers in general, and I was no exception. Complex passages on philosophy, psychology, constantly fluctuating scores, and endless race against time to complete all the questions were some of the issues which I regularly faced. But I was able to improve in this section, and I would like to share a few of my experiences. So one of the things which I want you to understand is that there is no escape from reading. Reading is one of the most fundamental things which will help you improve your scores. There are 2 things which are important in the VRC section: speed and comprehension, and reading helps you in both. Now, if you're not an avid reader, I would recommend that you start reading some of the novels, books or articles which you find interesting. Do that at the start of your preparation for a month or so. Once you have developed the habit of reading and you are more comfortable, I would want you to read on some of the more diverse topics. Some of the sources for this are Aeon, Arts and Daily, the New York Times, the Guardian. Also, I would recommend you to read your daily newspaper. Reading this will actually help you not only in your CAT examination but also in the subsequent GDPI preparation. Now, I would recommend that you read at least 2 passages from the above mentioned sources every day. A word of caution here: reading is not something which will help you immediately in a month or so to improve your mock scores, or even a couple of months or so. It is a long-term strategy, and you have to be patient. But there are also some of the things which I tried in the short run which worked out for me. So some of the things are that one thing is to analyze your mocks very well. So after you have solved a certain mock, you should actually go towards the mock, go to a certain passage and solve that passage without any time limit. If you're able to get all the questions right, then that means that if you're not able to solve that in the mock, that means speed is your problem. But if you're not able to get all the questions right, that means that somewhere comprehension is also your problem. So to improve reading is one thing that helps, but there are also some of the other things. One of the things which I found out, which is very interesting, was that there are traps which are being set in the mocks and also in the CAT. So some of the examples of trap would be that the options are actually paraphrased. You think that the option resembles what was mentioned in the passage, but when you closely read the option, you find out that it is paraphrased and the meaning is altogether changing. And that is the way that you are being trapped. And the next time that I was giving the mocks, I was more alert and to not repeat the same mistakes which I am making. In verbal, also I would like to recommend that the summary and the crux of the passage is very important. So you should be able to understand the crux of the passage. So I would recommend that you start on any certain passage in a mock. I would recommend that you write the summary, write the central idea, and show it to your mentors or someone who is good in the verbal ability, which you know. That will help you understand that are you actually comprehending the passage properly, and because this will help you in not only in the central idea and summary question, but to get all the questions right in a certain passage. For the parajumbles, I would recommend you do not spend a lot of time, not more than 1.5 minutes on a parajumble, because the accuracy, so the speed will be much more important than the accuracy there in the verbal ability. Solve the summary questions first, because there's a high chance of you getting a high accuracy in the summary questions if you have become good in the RC section. So that is from the verbal ability part. In the next section 3 of this video, I would tackle the DIL. So in this section, I would help you guys to how to sail through the troubled waters of DILR. DILR is a section which just keeps on getting tougher and tougher every year. And if you see the CAT 2020 paper, I think it was the most toughest among the past 3-4 years that I have solved. So how do you tackle such a section? For one thing, let's just look at CAT 2020 and why was it so much tough? It was tough because the sets which were there were non-standard, and as a regular aspirant, you may not have come across some of these sets. The concepts were the same, the basic concepts were applied, but the sets were non-standard. So now it makes much more sense for us to solve a variety of sets. By solving a variety of sets, we will be able to come across different concepts which we will be able to operate with much ease. One of the important things in DILR which I would like to say is that do not benchmark or do not keep in mind a certain number of sets which we are going to solve. So some of the aspirants which I came across said that we want to solve at least 3 sets in this exam or at least 4 sets in this exam, which will help us get that top percentile or help us maybe even clear the cutoff. Do not keep this particular thing in mind, because in this year itself, if you see in the slot 3 of the paper, even if you solve 2 sets, you will be able to clear the cutoff comfortably and get somewhere around 95 percentile just by solving 2 sets. So people who had a fixed number in mind, such as I would like to solve 3 or 4 sets, they faced much difficulty and they were not able to cope up. Do not keep any sort of fixed mindset, because either the paper can come easy and then solving 3 or 4 sets may get you a less percentile, and if the paper is very tough, then solving just 3 sets or even less than that you will be able to even clear the cutoff and get a very good percentile. As I said, practice is the most important part in the DILR. Just as reading was important in verbal ability, practice and consistency is the most important part of the DILR section. I would highly recommend you to solve 3 to 4 sets daily from the time you're preparing till the D-Day of your CAT. Now there is one more important thing which helps in DILR section, solving puzzles. How it helps is that it helps you to how to solve problems from the scratch. It helps you to understand that. So I used to solve the Sudoku and Kakuro every day, maybe alternate days, but I used to solve them every day. And if you see in CAT, these concepts are actually applied, and there are some of the sets which use Sudoku, which use Kakuro. These helps you get good with the numbers, which is very important in DILR. Approximation and being comfortable with numbers is a very important part of it. So that was about DILR. So in this last section of this video, I am going to talk about how to maximize your score in quants. I was able to score 99.84 percentile in the quant section itself, and it helped me immensely boost my overall percentile. So I'm going to share a few points which I used which helped me score such a high percentile. The first important thing in quants is that leave no stone unturned as far as the syllabus is concerned. The reason I'm saying this is that in the quant section, the questions which are asked generally involve more than one concept. So if you know a certain concept but you are not able or you have not studied some other concept, then you maybe won't be able to solve that question. While I'm talking about the syllabus, I would also like to say that please do not leave PNC and probability. You may find those topics difficult at the start, but I would highly recommend you to please be comfortable with those topics. The reason is that you are able to score the maximum marks in the shortest amount of time in PNC and probability if you are comfortable with them. One more very important point in quants is that it is not just good enough to solve a certain question, but it is very important to solve that question in the shortest amount of time possible. So let's say a certain question in arithmetic. As I had mentioned in section 1, arithmetic carries the most weightage in the paper over the past few years. So everybody studies that and everybody is able to solve the arithmetic questions. But a certain person who is able to solve the arithmetic question but takes somewhere around 3 minutes to solve that question, and if I am able to solve the same question in 1.5 or maybe even 1 minute, then you could just see the time which I am saving on that question, and I can use that time to maybe solve another question or maybe 2 questions in that time frame. I think that is where the main gap starts to appear between someone who scores a very high percentile and someone who is able to score a decent percentile. So I would highly recommend you to start solving and getting better solutions to the questions that you solve. Take the help of your mentors or your fellow students who you are preparing with and try to get the most effective solution for a certain problem. One of the more important tricks is approximations. So be good with numbers and try approximating as much as possible. That helps you save a lot of time. Also, use every tool possible to get to the right answer in the shortest time. So use the options, try to use the options to reach the answer. A lot of time the option gives you a lot of hint. So you should actually use that to get to the right answer. It is often said that you should not use pen and paper. It helps you save a lot of time. So that is true. But I'm not saying that you should not use pen and paper. We need to use the pen and paper, but I would recommend you to use it minimally. So what I did while I was preparing is that I used to solve certain mocks where I would not use pen and paper at all. I used to solve the whole mock, practice mock, without pen and paper, and I would try to see how much question am I able to get right. You could either do that or maybe take half a page of a paper and just do minimum calculations. Also, I would recommend you to do not use the calculator which is provided in the exam, and rather be good at calculations and approximations, as I had mentioned before. That helps to save a lot of time. So this is all I had to say about the quant section, and I'm sure if you use some of the tricks which I had told you, you will be able to maximize your score in this section. So this is the end of the video, and I hope that you are able to learn a few things from my experience, and you will apply those things to get to help you get the good scores and achieve the college which you desire. Thank you.